I've been feeling a little bit off these past few days. I feel low. And I don't know if that's a good way to articulate it, but I feel like if you're going through what I'm going through, that will resonate with you. Instead of feeling like I'm here, I feel like I'm here. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm depressed. It doesn't mean that I'm sad. It just means that I feel low. I feel like things that would typically bring me a sense of pleasure and satisfaction are not bringing me that same sense of pleasure and satisfaction anymore. And this is a feeling that has been more prevalent than ever these past few days. And I couldn't figure out why. I didn't know what was going on with me. And it really stressed me out, which only made things worse. But through doing some deep introspection and spending some time with myself and observing my thought patterns, what I've realized is that I'm going through another flatline. I'm going through another NoFap flatline. And if you're watching this video, the chances are you're going through a flatline as well, or you think you might be going through a flatline. Now, before I tell you how to get over the flatline, first we need to define what the flatline actually is. You need to understand that your body, when it releases, when it reaches that point of climax, whether it's through intercourse or through PMO, that is pretty much the highest form of pleasure that you can experience as a man. And when you take that away from yourself, when you strip yourself of that pleasure, your body is going to look for other ways to fill that void back up. But what you'll find over time is that nothing else can really take you to that same level of pleasure. Nothing can give you that same high, except for maybe drugs or alcohol or things like that, which I personally do not indulge in. And I wouldn't recommend you guys indulge in those things either, especially as a means of getting past the flatline, because the flatline is temporary. Let me just say that. The flatline will pass. If you're going through the flatline, I know right now things don't look promising for you. You might not see the light at the end of the tunnel. You might be so lost in your own mind that you don't think that there's a way out. But I guarantee you that there is a way out. And I'm about to put you on all the game that I can to help you find that way out. You have to understand that right now, your dopamine receptors are very desensitized to the feeling of pleasure. So things that would normally bring you pleasure feel very dull in comparison to what they used to. And that's okay. Like I said, you will get through this, but you have to give your mind and your body some time to readjust to your new life. Now, me personally, I'm 7 months into NoFap, 2.5 months into retention. I did not see this coming. I did not know that I was going to experience another flatline, but here I am. Here I am right now, and honestly, me making this video is already making me feel better because I'm developing more awareness. Awareness is the first step to overcoming the flatline. It's the first step to overcoming really any problem that you may have, but especially for something like the flatline. Because if you don't know what you're going through, your first instinct is going to be to turn to instant gratification, sources of empty pleasures. And that is the main thing that you need to avoid at this time. The first way to overcome the flatline, the quickest way and most effective way to overcome the flatline, is to do a dopamine detox. Now, I understand that many of us are not in a position where we can do a complete dopamine detox because we have shit to do. We all have things we need to do. I know a lot of you guys are in school right now, which I'm sure makes the flatline that much worse because you have all of this extra work on top of working on yourself. Me, I'm dealing with making these videos and writing my book and getting things situated for when I move out and all of these responsibilities that I suddenly have. And it's a lot. But if I can do it, you can do it. Okay, even if you can't do a complete dopamine detox, do what you can with what you have. For example, a lot of times when your body wants a rush of dopamine, the first thing that you do is you get on your phone. You get on your phone, you go to social media, you go to YouTube, you watch funny videos, you watch the little short videos, you watch TikToks and things like that. You look up pictures of attractive women. Some of you even relapse. You go back to the hub, as Ice Cold JT would call it. And you're not doing yourself any favors. All you're doing is digging yourself deeper into that hole. You're making that inner brain fog even thicker, and it's going to be even more difficult for you to get yourself out of that headspace. So what you need to do is you need to start eliminating these sources of instant pleasure. So get off of social media. Get off of your phone if you can. Stop watching YouTube videos. The videos aren't going anywhere. Even my videos, they're not going anywhere. When you get back on YouTube, my videos are still going to be there. And there's going to be extra videos for you to watch because I'm still uploading. But generally speaking, you need to spend as much time away from your phone as possible because that is your mind's initial source of dopamine, especially if you're young, because that's just the way that you were raised. You're conditioned to go to your phone. Think about how many times you go to your phone and you don't even look at anything. You just get on your phone just to get on your phone out of habit. That's a habit that you need to break if you want to get out of the flatline. Now, in addition to that, I would also recommend not watching Netflix. Netflix is another source of dopamine. Not as bad as social media or YouTube or anything like that, because obviously you have to have a longer attention span to watch Netflix, but it's still a hit of dopamine to your already fried dopamine receptors. So stop watching Netflix, stay away from your phone. Me personally, I've decided to take things to the next level. I'm fasting right now. I've never fasted in my life before until today. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of messing me up a little bit, but at the same time, it's helping me to rewire my brain. It's helping me to remind myself of what food actually is. You see, a lot of people, they binge eat junk food. They binge eat pleasure foods in order to make themselves feel better. This is the foundation of a lot of eating disorders, and I've definitely been through that before. Now, what you need to understand is that food is fuel, first and foremost. So, reminding yourself that food is fuel by not eating will definitely help you rewire your brain to stop looking at it as a source of pleasure and start looking at it as a source of nourishment. I'm not saying that you need to fast as well, but it's definitely helping me replenish my dopamine receptors. Now, in addition to that, I'm also avoiding music as much as possible. When I'm riding in the car, I'm not listening to music. I'm listening to my thoughts. I'm observing my thoughts. I'm being as present as possible. I don't want things that are going to help me escape from this feeling that I feel right now, because escapism is only going to prolong it in the long run. What you need to do is you need to be present within this feeling. You need to take some time away from sources of dopamine, sources of instant gratification. And like I said, do the best that you can. I know that, especially if you're in school, it's difficult to do that. But do the best that you can. Control what you can control. And most importantly, be patient with yourself. You have to be patient and you have to be present within this feeling. Because if you're not present within this feeling, you're going to suppress it. And feelings are temporary unless you hold on to them. So if you're suppressing your feelings, you're holding on to them. You're only going to make it last longer, or it's going to resurface at a time that is very inconvenient for you. So be present, take things slow. That is the next thing that you can do to overcome the NoFap flatline. Take things slow, be present, be lethargic even. And what I mean by that is just go about your day in a very intentional, present way. So everything that you do it with 100% attention and focus in that moment. Wherever you are, be all there. Be present in your surroundings. Be present in your environment. And like I said, take things slow. Talk slow. Walk slow. Breathe slow. Breathe deep. Do things like that. That's going to help you stay present, and it's going to help you ground yourself in this moment such that whenever your dopamine receptors do repair themselves, when they're no longer desensitized, you'll be able to experience pleasure in the little things in life. Things like the trees, the color of the trees, the color of the sky. You'll be able to enjoy watching sunsets or writing or things like that. Just little things that maybe in the past seemed like trivial tasks to you. Things that held little to no meaning in your life will suddenly hold a lot more meaning. Those songs that you're listening to, they will sound a lot more beautiful. And I've talked about that in the past. When you're on NoFap, when you're on retention, you start to find pleasure in the little things, and that's the reason why. But the only way you can experience that is you have to go through the flatline.